Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode here of NCAA Football 14. This is the Highland Scotties Team Builder Dynasty, and this is episode 38. We are back here today. I know it's been a while since we've had any episodes of this, but I promise you we're going to have more episodes coming up here with the new season starting here very soon. Matter of fact, in this episode today, we'll show you guys some of the recruits that we've been going after and looking at the schedule coming up here. And it's going to be a tough schedule. I will tell you guys that. I think I mentioned that in the last episode there. We did have to do some moving around here with the schedule. I wanted LSU to be the very first game of the season, but I will show you here in a bit, here soon, later on in the video, that we do play LSU, but it won't be the first week. I think it's like week 3. So we got 2 games this season that will be neutral site games, but we'll be playing as the away team. That'll be against LSU there in Dallas, and then against Notre Dame will be at Soldier Field. So we'll get into that more here later on. But right now we're taking a look here at some of the prospects that we're looking at here, or the players that we're looking at here in the course of the summer. And there you see some of the guys that we've been looking at here, and just kind of moving the max points onto some of these guys here. We're trying to see if we can sign some of these guys, and of course some of these guys are going to be a long shot, if you can tell by there. But then there's some guys that we got a good excellent chance to really do some damage here, and really we can really draw them in here. But I think this year, we're a 3-star team. Since winning the national championship, and this is that was only our second year in existence as a FCS or a BCS, or whatever you want to call this team. So we're going to still be an independent for the next season 3 and season 4. Then season 5 we could move to a Big 12 conference there. But then at the same time, I've been kind of my buddy who watches the series here, kind of been hitting at me that maybe we should try maybe a MAC or a Conference USA or Sun Belt, just kind of start us off here. But I see like this: if we win another national championship between now and in season 5, we might just go ahead and go for it there. It's gonna be a bit of a challenge, and of course that's what this series is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be a challenge. I wasn't really expecting us to play Alabama the first year for the national championship, and then again, or then going for the national championship and winning it against Washington, the Huskies there. So wasn't really expecting none of that, and I don't really expect us to win it this year either. It's going to be a year that we're going to have to really depend on a lot of players from our underclassmen. Because this year we have a lot of seniors that will be taking off here. If you guys watched the last video, I'll leave it here somewhere in the link to it here in the video. But if you remember, we had a lot of guys that were going to go pro, and that was another thing I was not expecting at us. But I convinced them to stay around for another year. I know that in the future I will not do that for this series. If they want to go pro, they can go pro. So we'll just have to try to see what we can do with the talent that we have for that upcoming year. When if underclassmen are not getting much playing time, or or the freshmen are coming in. So that's something, a new rule that I want to apply here, that we're not gonna I see like this: if they're at 85 or higher and they want to go to pro, we're just gonna have to let them go. So that's going to be tough for, it's going to be really tough because, we got some good guys here that we want to keep around. But for the most part, I think this upcoming off season that we'll have here, we will have a lot of guys that will end up going pro or end up graduating, because we have a lot of graduating senior red shirts that are going to be leaving us after this season's over with. So we got a lot of things we got to look at here coming up after season 3. But of course, let's not even think about that yet. Let's try to enjoy this season 3, because it's going to be an exciting season for us. Like I said, we'll see the schedule here in just a bit. But right now, we're just kind of looking at some of these prospects we're looking at here. We added some more people on the board there. We recruited a couple of these guys, and some of these guys I just did not feel comfortable with. because of their attributes and areas in their game. Outside linebacker here that we're looking at, Thomas Woodward. Look at his numbers there. Great, decent speed for a guy for his size. But most importantly, we're looking at the zone and zone coverage, or man coverage of zone. Tackling could have been a lot better. Pursuit, we kind of like there. So we're going to go ahead and add some of the max to him. See if we can get him signed. For the most part here, we're just looking for some depth here. We're just trying to look for guys that can may necessarily not play. There's a good chance of them playing the first year, not at all. But some guys that we could probably, if we could sign them, maybe redshirt them a year, and get some help in the scout team, and do that. Just kind of hold them back for a year and just get that experience off the field by basically holding a clipboard, I guess you could say, and just running with the looking at film and all that kind of stuff, just getting prepared for the next season here. Just looking for some depth here. We got some areas we got to look at, especially in our secondary, which is going to be a big problem for us. Regardless if we sign these guys or not, going to next season, because we've got a lot of upperclassmen that could potentially, like I said, go pro or could be in other things too, graduate. So that's going to be a big concern for us for the secondary there next year. I will say that it's going to be a tough thing for us, and that's one thing we will be looking at going into this new season here, is recruiting some players that are going to be in the secondary there, because I think we may end up probably have the youngest secondary for our team that we've ever had. Really, I would almost compare it to a worse secondary that we had our first year. And our first year we had a bunch of sophomores and freshmen. We may end up having an all freshman secondary there, corner, safeties. So that is going to be a big concern for us next season, and Coach Teddy Bonds, of course, is going to have to try to work that out in the best way he possibly can. But we're just looking at some of the other guys here. Really at Paris Green there. Not going to get him. He's a bit of a bust there. I really was hoping that we were going to get something out of him, but just didn't care for his attributes there and his numbers there for what he was looking at there wise. And then of course you got some other players here, just got some decent speed there, but just not what we're looking for. And I know we shouldn't be picky, but at the same time here, we just don't want to put anything on the field there out there for us for next season. So like I said, not the best guys out there. We're looking at guys that are 1-2 stars, which we'll need that in some areas in our game, but for other areas in our game, we really want to have the best players out there for the best performances out there. So that is something we're really going to have to just watch out for, and just try to get the best players that we possibly can to help us out. Take a look at some of the team news there. And there you see some of the guys that we've been going after for since the beginning of the season. Goings going to Washington, Long's going to Kansas, Henley is going to go to Oregon, and then Woodward's going to go to California. But we do get Reed and Fernando there, halfback in the center there. They have committed to us, and then you got Whitehead, who committed to Eastern Michigan, and Sparks going to Wisconsin. So somewhere down the line, Long, we'll probably end up seeing him. He probably will not play next year, but maybe season 4 will play. At least talking to Coach Teddy Bonds there, he kind of hinted that we may end up playing at least 3 Big 12 schools next season, just kind of get us ready there. Not to mention, there's been reports, or at least been talked about possibly playing Houston, as Houston could be the other team that could go into the Big 12 there with us. So that is something that could possibly happen, and we'll have to see what we can do when all that is pretty much said and done. Nothing officially has been said or or been made up, but that's at least what the talk is right now. With a lot, with at least speaking to Coach Teddy Bonds and the athletic director for Highland. But yeah, and matter of fact, actually, probably here in the next couple of episodes, probably Scotty Sports Talk will probably actually we'll have a chance to talk to Coach Teddy Bonds about that, about the schedule coming up, how he that you guys will see here pretty soon, and also possibly the future schedule for next season there. That he does want to get some things set up for a lot of things going on for the team and get some things in motion there, especially if they are going to go to the Big 12. So that, I think that we have that interview coming up. It's going to be our my newest correspondent here on the channel, Love Lady. We're going to have him have that interview. He's going to conduct that interview with Coach Teddy Bonds there, and so we'll see that here very, very soon. So or it should be coming up here at least the next couple of episodes now. I think it's going to be somewhere around the I think it's, let me look at my notes here. Oh yeah, it's going to be after the Notre Dame game. So it'll be sometime in week 2 that we'll have that interview with Coach Teddy Bonds and the AD for Highland. But yeah, we're just gonna see here. You see some of the recruits there that we've just recently try to sign there, and of course it's gonna be it's gonna be a battle. Please talking to Coach Teddy Bonds there. He says with a lot of the players that you see there on the list there, a lot of the seniors and juniors are gonna start and make their starts there. And he's not going to move anybody, but for the most part here, he says that he's going to try his best to try to get some of the younger talent out there as much as they possibly can. Now, depending on how the game goes or who they're playing, he's going to try to put some playing time out there for those guys and try to get them ready to go when they're on the field there. So. We'll probably see, if the score is, 3 or 4, they're up by at least two or three possessions. We might end up seeing some more guys coming out there on the field, second string guys out there, getting that, trying to get those, some reps that he normally wouldn't get, and just try to help them out with that, and really just try to expose them to the game, to the college football game there. So we got, as you see there, we got quite a few freshmen there, and of course a lot of those freshmen will be redshirting here. We'll show you guys those red shirts here in just a bit. But going back to what I was saying about the starting the playing time there, Coach Teddy Bonds really believes that if enough people. Or no, depending on the games and stuff like that. Because, like I said, we do have a tough schedule coming up. He says that maybe not the first week or so. Not for at least the first 3 weeks. He says that he admits it's going to be they have a tough schedule. The first 3 weeks, they got Notre Dame, Nebraska, and then LSU. Of course, two of those 3 games are, all 3 games are on the road. But 2 of those 3 games are in a neutral site. So we don't really have, these first 3 weeks are going to be just brutal. I don't think it's till like week 5 or 6 as we actually get a home game. And we'll show you, like I said, we'll show you the guys the schedule for that here coming up. But yeah, we're just, he says that that there's a good chance that there will be some playing time there, but it won't be until probably the fourth quarter, depending on, like I said, on the score and pull on that. And then once we get to the other half of this the schedule there, he said there are going to be more games where we'll see more guys, second stringers coming in and playing more often and stuff like that. So just depends on the how this how the season goes. But he said he does want those guys out there, the second stringers out there as much as he possibly can. Well, if something goes haywire or something like that. Right now, we're taking a look at some of the position moves here. I believe Phillips is moving from the tight end position to the fullback position. They want him to work out there because that might be an interest where he can be one of the upperclassmen for next season. They are going to be looking at fullbacks for next season, but they want to have at least a spot there for a guy for him to play that position next season. There, he gets a good blocking and pass blocking and run blocking there, especially run blocking, which will really help us out. But if they do sign a fullback, they do happen to recruit a fullback this season. A freshman and stuff like that coming in for next year, then they'll move him back over to the tight end position. And then of course you got some other guys here that we're going to be looking at here, some athletes here. We got quite a few guys here that I was really surprised that we got some some safeties, and of course we got some guys who can play middle linebacker, and actually some guys that can play multiple positions, that's what I'm always really glad. At least Coach Shea Bond says he's really happy to see him, which I'm very impressed there. We're looking, Coach Shea Bonds, he likes those guys that can play those two positions there, offense and defense there. Some of your your 8-man football type of guys, and that's what he's been looking for here for his team, and that's what he got this year with some of these players that are coming in here. But there you see, take a look there. You got Tolbert, Bass, Collins, Fowler, and Jones are your freshmen in there. And of course, they're going to be moved around here. They're going to be shuffled around here some to see exactly where they're going to fit at most here. But if it doesn't work out there, then they go back to where they were recruited for. But for the most part here, just a great job. Just finding this talent here, especially some of these athletes. Ben Thomas is another guy there. I think we passed up there during the quarterbacks there. He is a decent quarterback there, 77 rated overall, so he has a pretty good future there for us. Also Matt Davison, another athlete there, halfback, we found out. Position. Mark Collins, we see here. He is a free safety. Also Joe Jones, and like I said, Grant Phillips, former tight end, now a fullback here from Grand Island, Grand Island, Nebraska there. But of course, some of these guys, some of these freshmen will probably not be seeing the light of day here on the field, and we'll get to those cuts here. This is always a tough thing for coaches, especially like Coach Shea Bonds, who wants to bring in all the talent he can, but of course he's only limited to what to a 53-man roster, and we'll see here some of the guys that we had a cut there. Some of them I was kind of just shocked and surprised. I was really thinking that he's going to end up cutting some of the younger guys, or some of the older talent that he had there. Some of your sophomores, your juniors that are kind of just in limbo and don't know really where they're going to be. That just don't make maybe don't just didn't have it or lost a step there from a year ago over the course of the summer and the off season there. But he didn't cut too many of those guys there. I believe he cut, one, two, three, two sophomores, one a redshirt sophomore, and then a couple of redshirt freshmen from just a year ago. As we are taking a look here at some of the training results there from some of these guys there, and like I said, this is the toughest part, because you have to go through that and see which guys are going to help you out, and which guys are going to may end up hurting that position that you're trying to work on the most here. And that's always something that no one can deal with, and it's just something that it's just part of what these guys have to go through to get on this team here. So you got to show your best, do what you can there on the field. and then just kind of see how it goes here. Maybe you get lucky, maybe you'll get redshirted, or if you're some guys, there's been stories that some guys will will go to the extreme point of get medical redshirted by getting a fake injury or whatnot, and so on and so forth. So there you see the current roster right now at 87. We've got to slim it down to 70. So that means 17 guys will have to go. Of course, we have to worry about our players with our pipelines there, and there's got quite a few pipelines that we may not have next season, and we'll show you guys that here in just a bit. But I'm just gonna go ahead and go down through the list here. You guys can just see on the screen here some of the players that we're gonna have to end up cutting. Ben Thomas, quarterback, 6'3", 232 pounds, from Childrensburg, Alabama. He was coming in as a freshman. He is going to be cut. Robert Reed, another player that we were going after, 67 overall, from Muskogee, Oklahoma. Halfback there. Koala Riley, halfback there from Richardson, Texas. He's one of the sophomores that got cut. He was 84 overall. We had to let him go. Pat Willis, wide receiver, from Cathedral, California, 90 overall. He just did not have the speed that we were looking for from him, and that was the reason why he was getting cut. And unfortunately, we had to let him go. And then Bo Robinson, 6'1", 215 pounds, from Louisiana, 70 overall, redshirt freshman from last year, and unfortunately we had to let him go as well. So it's always tough. There you see Pat Willis there, speed not the greatest there. We just had too many guys there that just did not make play. Now, of course, you're probably saying, hey, Page didn't have great speed there, but Page, of course, been on the field. He's we've seen what he can do, and we're hoping that he'll even step up even more this year, as he is one of our redshirt seniors. And we're hoping that Page, I really think Page will be he's one of our great run returners. I think he may have ran one back last year, but yeah, he's a great tool there to utilize there, as just a good guy that usually he's open when Flanagan needs him to be, and he's just a good player there, good hands on him, and that's what we kept him around. Then you got Egan Pollard, from Griffin, California, 71 overall, freshman redshirt. Chris Fernando, who we brought in as a freshman, 67 overall, center. Also Josh Ewing, also a center there. He is from Lancaster, Texas, from 60 overall. Clark, left end, from Finland, Ohio, 74 junior redshirt, who got cut, and Ben Webster, right end from College Park, Georgia, 68 overall there. He had been let go also. There you see Ben Graham, one of the guys that last year we recruited. We tried to recruit his brother, but his brother, of course, went to Nebraska, and we will. I don't know if he's going to be starting there. We'll have to check see what the depth chart is for him, but chances are he probably will not be starting. But Graham, I believe, will end up, he will be redshirted this year. So we'll go on and check out some more recruits here getting cut. We'll look at Phil Watson, the left outside linebacker from Learning, Kansas, 73 overall, sophomore redshirt. Robert Huron, as you're taking a look here, 90 speed, but his overall is 75 overall, and that was just not good for us there, as he had the speed there, but it came down to awareness and hands, and just be able to read, play recognition, all that kind of stuff just were not in his favor. So like I said, these are hard, tough things. You probably will disagree with me, which is fine, but this is just a really tough thing to do when you're sitting down here with all this talent, and you really don't want to let them go, especially when they're upperclassmen. They're juniors. This possibly their year to play, and then all of a sudden they get cut because the next guy, a younger guy may have better skills than him and whatnot. So we also, we got to worry about like I said, we got to worry about next season. We got to get some of these younger guys in there and get them playing. But unfortunately, we had to cut some of we had to make those tough choices there. And then there you see some other guys there. McLaurin, strong safety there from Loveland, Ohio, 79 overall. He's a junior red shirt. And then Ryan Russ, a kicker from Annapolis, Maryland. We ended up having to get rid of him as he was an 81 overall. But with kickers, kickers and punters, of course, are kind of a dime a dozen there. And those are guys you can kind of find really at any point of recruiting and whatnot. But take a look here at your pipeline states. There you see we still have Nebraska as one of our main pipelines. Of course, that's where Coach Teddy Bonds went to school at, and he's well known there in the state when it comes to recruiting and building teams. But there you see Texas, California, Florida, and Illinois are possible ones we may end up losing next season if we don't try to recruit or target some of those guys there. So those are areas we're going to try to work on. Of course, we're going to try to work on the state of Kansas that we're currently in, the state that we're in. Try to recruit some of those guys there. I think we got 3 on target right now. And then, of course, the surrounding states, Iowa, Nebraska, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Colorado that are surrounding us. We'll try to recruit in those areas also, too, so we can try to get a stronger pipeline with those. So, trying to grow a pipeline is tough. You end up getting pipelines in states that you did not know that where kids were interested in, from the East Coast or the West Coast there. So that, like I said, that's something that we're going to be looking at here as we go along here, as we take just a look here. And you guys can pause the video or whatever. You can check those out. Some of the other schools that are kind of looking at us, or other targets that we're currently going after, and check a look at those. But yeah, this is always a tough part of the year there. Try to get looking at guys there, and then trying to make those final cuts there. Fortunately, we can't keep them all on there. I wish we could. I wish there was a way we could put them on a scout team or something like that, but that's not the case here, or just redshirt them, if they haven't been redshirt already. But we'll take a look here and see, and we'll look at just got some guys here that we're looking at here on our board right now. Of course, this is not the final board here as we go into the preseason here. We got some good battles here with some other schools here. I think with some good wins here against we got 2 top 25 teams. We're playing number 10 Notre Dame first, and then in 2 weeks we'll play number 25 USC, or not USC, LSU. Those I think will be good wins there. That should kind of help us, catapult. Not to mention, we're a former, we won the national championship last year. We're kind of one of those schools that are, that we're the school right now that everybody's talking about. Like, hey, look at that small new Division I school that's making some things going on. They're making noise. Hey, they're doing special things there. So, with that on our side here, I think if we play and run, and if we can run the table of all things and have a successful season. Now, will we have a loss? Yes, we'll probably have a loss or more, so because we got a target put on our back. But if we can run the table and play well, at least talking to Coach Teddy Bonds, of course, all coaches are like that. There could be some really good magic with this team and going as back-to-back champions here in NCAA. So a big, huge mountain to climb. I think more so than the first 2 years. This third year could be a very interesting year for all of us here. And the national championship, of course, is always on everybody's mind. Everybody wants to be a national championship, and we just have to see how the chips lay as we go on here to enter this third year. So take a look here. We're looking at the depth chart here and just seeing how things are worked out. And of course, some of the same players you've seen just from a season ago. I think we may have 1, maybe 2 freshmen maybe starting or on the depth chart here to help us out. But for the most part here, you see Sherman, just a beast there in the defensive line there. For the most part, this should be a great year for a lot of different teams and a lot of different scenarios for us, as we, like I said, we're trying to get the the guys that have been over here for the last 2 years now for the team, and kind of transition to getting that next group of guys coming in there and do some special things there. So like I said, we're gonna see some more second string guys come in, but you won't see it probably until into the second half, once we get done with this first part of the season. Like teams like Nebraska, teams like LSU and Notre Dame. I want to say there's another team we're playing against that's another high-profile game that we have to worry about, but I can't think of it off the top of my head here. We should be getting to the schedule here in just a bit. But yeah, I mean, it's just really I really didn't think this year was going to. Oh, yeah. That's what I was just going to. Okay, here we go. As I'm looking at the schedule right now, there you see Nebraska week 2. They're in Lincoln. And then we've got LSU, who is ranked 25th in the nation. And then we got Illinois, or we're going to go on the road, which Coach David Sahib, our former defensive coordinator, is at right now. He's the head coach there at Illinois. And then we got Louisiana. That's going to be our first home game. BYU is another big name there that I should have realized that we had to play against. We got to play against them at BYU. They're in Utah. And then you got Texas State there. Should be a good game there. A really talented team there. Then, of course, San Diego State. Alan Lawrence, our former offensive coordinator, he is with them now as the head coach there at San Diego State. So that's going to be a good game. We'll see with both of those games, Illinois and the San Diego State, are all about. See if the students learn anything from the teacher there. And then we got a day off. We got a week off there, which that's gonna be nice there, as we played 9 weeks in a row. So it's gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be a brutal schedule. Hopefully we can stay healthy. And then you got Louisville. And then after that San Diego game, that's pretty much all our games at home. And then you got a Virginia game there at home there, which is a good game there. And so we'll see how things go there. Like I said, a brutal schedule, but I think a strength of schedule would be, so it's not that tough. But with a small team like this and the talent that we have right now, I will be very surprised and very shocked if we're able to walk out of this with unscathed and not too much damage upon us, because you got Notre Dame, Nebraska, and LSU right there in those first 3 weeks, and those are some powerhouses right there when it comes to college football. There, they can really damage us really, really good. But there you see, first week there, week 1, going against number 10 ranked Notre Dame. It will be a nice early test for us to see how we go, and we'll see how things play out here coming up in the next episode. So that will be the next episode, you guys. Actually, that'll be week 1 there. But we'll actually have a special coming up. We'll have 2 specials actually for Scotty Sports Talk. We'll have one of them being it's a recruiting special, that recruits that you guys recruited or that you guys are submitted, and of course a couple of ones that I've submitted myself, and also we'll have a look before a preview. That's what they call it. We'll have a preview. I just don't understand why I couldn't come up with that name. But we'll have a preview of the first game here this season with Notre Dame there at Soldier Field. So we'll have that, and we'll show you guys the statistics and numbers there, some of the top players there for them and for us in that week 1 matchup. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more Highland Scotties football. I promise you, more videos are going to come up this season. We'll try and get through the season a lot more quicker here. for you guys here. So thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like. Don't forget to also to subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification so you guys be notified of when this series or any other series here on the channel is released. Also, too, in the special, I'll let you guys know when you guys can submit your recruits for next season, so they can be added to season 4, and so we can start recruiting them. But that is it for me. As always, keep yourselves healthy, and I will see you guys next time.